Good evening, everyone. Hello, Tony from BlueGreen Artifacts. Welcome to another unboxing of random crap that I purchased to sell. We have a little beverage, Sweet Child of Vine IPA by Fulton Brewery here in Minneapolis area. Let's pop that. Props to Comic Man Andy, pinkies up. Let's get rolling. So I've been on kind of a binge lately buying stuff. Again, what I try to do is I'm a collector, I'm a reader, but in the last 4 or 5 years I've really turned into a seller, and I love it. I love speccing and purchasing things low and selling them high and figuring out if it should be graded and whatnot. So that's what I like to do with my videos, just FYI. Not just tell you like, hey, this is a hot book, which we can talk about this later. First appearance of Marie Laveau, Golden Age. The first incarnation of the Laveau character from Strange Academy, just FYI. That is Crime Detector number 2, a 10-cent book. Anyways, I digress. I could pick up 25,000 books here and talk about them for about 20 minutes or so. I'm gonna test the limits of my camera's ability to focus. By the way, I figured out my ring light a little bit, so now I don't look quite as much like a zombie or I don't know. My first video, I just looked like an alcoholic, like W.C. Fields or something like that. I don't know. Anyways, instead of just showing you books and saying this is a hot book, this is a hot book. I'd like to actually talk about strategies. I think there's a lot of people who wouldn't mind, if not making money from comics, then at least using it to fund their buying habits. You know, if you can go to the store and spend $40 a week on comics, but all of that money comes from selling comics, I mean, that's perfect, right? You get to keep the ones you want to keep. You get to sell the ones that you want to sell. It funds your hobby. And if you can actually make it into the black where you're making a little money, what could beat that? Let's dig into it. I'm going to show you some stuff. Talk a little bit about why I bought it and how I plan to sell it, or what I plan to do with it. And I already burped once, so let's just keep it up and record a couple more of those for posterity. Did make it to the LCS this week. My LCS actually moved farther away, which means my visits are going to be a little slimmer. I do pre-order a lot of stuff as well, but just stuff I picked up. I'll burn through this pretty quick. I don't think any of these are sale books right away. So we got Boom Studios Origins 1 of 6. Boom Studios has been on fire recently, and I just really like this cover. So it sure can't hurt picking up a number 1 of a possible independent. We've got the new Captain Marvel, the one everybody's looking for. Captain Marvel 23. This is the Russell Dodderman cover. Russell Dodderman is awesome. Got a little printing crease right through the middle of it. Otherwise looks really good. Spec wise, I don't know the full story. Something about the child of Namor or something like that. By the way, that is one of my strategies. You don't have to know everything about everything. If you can't walk into a comic shop and pick up 500 comics just by looking at the cover, that's okay. You don't have to be an expert on everything to be successful as a seller. Buy what you know, as Brian from Simple Man's Comics would say, and sell what you know. If you can find your own little niche corner of the marketplace that you have some good knowledge about, then use that knowledge. All right, we got Year 1, Volume 2, Issue 1. Love these Care Andrew covers. Love them. I'm not huge on zombie spec because it seems a little tired. It seems like it would not be easy to get a zombie project optioned or to make it all the way to production. Just saying. I know Upshot is kind of built around that, trying to sell properties. But regardless, even if it's just for the cover buy, I love those year zeros. Vampire the Masquerade, this is number 4. I bought this originally because number 1, it's a vault book. Number 2, it's a comic from a game, from a role-playing game actually back in the 90s. And then after I bought the first one and read it, I realized it was set right here in Minneapolis, St. Paul, Minnesota, which is freaking awesome because nobody sets anything here. So anyways, Vampire the Masquerade, I don't know if anything will come of this or not. They have not been hot recently. We've got another one, Hotline Miami from Behemoth. Hotline Miami Wildlife. This is issue number 3. If you don't know anything about Hotline Miami, it is a cult following video game. There are figures, there are LPs, there are collectibles that sell for very big money. This mini is the first comic appearance of Hotline Miami. There have been some online comics, but obviously you can't buy and sell those. I actually have... issue number 1 has not done anything on the marketplace. You can buy copies. I mean, it's above cover. I'll give it that. So it's between $5 and $7, $8. But I am still very high on Hotline Miami. There's a A and a B. There are no incentives. There are no retailer incentives. The first issue, I looked it up on Comic-Con. I want to say the estimated print run was about 5,000. So perfect. If it ever makes it into a property that's developed, it is an ultra violent, like when I think ultraviolet, I think John Wick, but it's not really John Wick. It's more like The Purge meets John Wick meets Memento, something like that. It's really weird, but anyways, also picked up this John Walker U.S. Agent. I don't know who did this cover. I really liked it though. I was kind of on the fence. I don't go out and buy and read every Marvel mini. But I was collecting Captain America books when John Walker was first introduced, and U.S. Agent was back when he joined the West Coast Avengers, I think it was. So I thought, why the hell not, right? Should we pop these open quick too? Just like everybody else in the community, I had to make a trip to my local Walmart. We've got a few Walmarts around. I just stopped at one. I was able to find 2 of those Miles books. One of the Shang-Chi, one of the Black Widow, and one of the X of Swords. There's only, out of all the Walmart packs that have come out in the last few years, there's only a couple of those top ones, the special exclusives that have actually done well in the market. That would be Strange Academy, that would be Rogue One of the Spider-Verse books, I guess. One of my favorite things to do here, even if they don't go for much more than 10, or 10, 15 bucks if you're really lucky, are dig into these issues behind, because it can either be a late printing, it could be an incentive ratio variant that just wasn't sent out, and sometimes they'll throw on a regular cover. So here we have the X of Swords. I think this is a new cover, to be honest. I've been waiting for the trade on all the X books recently. I just don't want to pick up all the individual issues. Oh, this is a wraparound. Very cool. Maybe this isn't a special cover though. Maybe this is the original cover just with a different colored trade dress. Not really sure. We've got Spider-Man and Venom Double Trouble, number 3. It doesn't say if this is an A or B or incentive. It could very well be an incentive, though. Cool. Some of those Double Trouble books are done well. Kind of an interesting cover. And then we got Tony Stark Iron Man 1. This is the Deep Space Armor variant. Of course, they came out with millions of these a few years ago. So no big hits there. Let's open up the next one. See what we got. I don't mean to speed through things, but honestly, if I sit and talk, this will be an hour and a half or 10-hour video. And that's just no fun for anybody. All right, so we've got the cool Black Widow cover. I do like the design. Just the cover design of a lot of these new Black Widow books. But can you name the last Black Widow book that was spec-worthy or worth anything? Like maybe the Yelena Belova, right? And how long ago was that released? All right, we've got an Immortal Hulk, number 28. I don't believe this was a special cover. I think this was the regular. Maybe it was a variant cover. It might have been just the regular cover. And then we've got a Mary Jane variant of Tony Stark Iron Man number 17. Blah. Blah, blah. So far, actually, these have been in pretty good shape. I think I got there early enough where they haven't been beat to hell. I haven't had huge luck on these Walmarts. I've pulled a couple that I've sold for maybe 40, 50. So I guess that's not nothing. Here we got the Shang-Chi. Very much looking forward to this movie. I've got a bunch of Shang-Chi books that I really need to get listed like right now. My strategy with Shang-Chi is to buy and grade some of the great covers from his original run that aren't considered keys. They're not first appearances, not the number 1 or 2. They're just great covers. And there just aren't a lot of them on the census. So getting a 9.6 or 9.8 can command some money. All right, so we've got that variant cover. We've got Amazing Spider-Man number 43. Nothing special there. And then we've got Excalibur number 7, the Gwen Stacy variant. Great, that's exactly what I wanted. A cover with Gwen Stacy holding Excalibur. Perfect. Nailed it, Marvel. On top of it. I'm not going to give Marvel crap about variants because I like variants. They kind of drive the market nowadays. But I'm going to feel free to skip a lot of them. All right, so we got Champions Outlawed number 1. This is the Miles Morales variant. I think this one should have some legs. This one, there are no color breaks. And those are some, well, I spoke too soon. Those are mostly some clean corners, so you never know. We've got another Double Trouble, number 4, Spider-Man and Venom. I do like the design of that. Gurihiru is the artist there. And then we've got the US Avengers, number 1. This was when, from a few years ago, they had 50 variants, 1 for each state. So we've got Tennessee. Tennessee. So, unless we hit something big here, this is probably a waste of money unless those Champions Miles books really pan out. So, again, this one probably does have a color break on it. The Miles book. What else we got? Spider-Man Black Cat Strikes. This is one of the Gamerverse books. This is number 3. That might be a ratio. I honestly do not know. I have not read any of those Gamerverse books. And then, oh, this is kind of cool. I liked a few years ago when we had the Infinity Warps. So this was the Weapon Hex. This was when they crossed over a bunch of the characters. So this was X-23 mixed with Scarlet Witch, I guess. Weapon Hex. With as much multiverse stuff as they're doing, it's really not out of the realm of possibility to see some of that stuff. All right, let's do this. I pre-cut a lot of these to save a little bit of time. Let's look at what we bought. And actually, this is a mystery box. One of the last mystery boxes. Actually, I have 2 mystery boxes. I only get 2 mystery boxes, and they both arrived on the same day. This is the Bolo box, aka Mr. Bolo, Jack DeMeo, and Brian from Simple Man's Comics. I was an early subscriber to their Bolo box that they put together. Brian, the tabs, man. You're always bragging about the tabs, and I don't see any tabs this time. I'm kind of disappointed. Now I got to use my fingernails. If I get a little piece of blue tape stuck in my fingernails, I know who to complain to. I tell you. Oh, we got tabs on the inside. Never mind, Brian. You're awesome. That's perfect. So they have different tiers for their Patreon, actually, is where this comes from. They do mystery boxes for their Patreon. There is a premium version that's a little bit more expensive, and then there's the regular version. And I want to say that last I heard, they were kind of filled up. I don't know if they're opening any spots, or perhaps some people are dropping out. Maybe there's something available. You can go to simplemanscomics.com to find out. Or hit them up on Instagram, that kind of thing. I'm glad I cut some of these. All right. So they do work with Frankie's Comics quite a bit. So many times these are some nice variants, and Simple Man's Comics have started doing their own variants. So what do we got here? There are 4 books. We have, this is 7 Secrets. I want to say this is number 1. I believe that this is, they've been doing, oh yeah, 616. This is the 1 in 500. 7 Secrets number 1 second print variant. Cover A exclusive variant from Boom Studios. Very cool. Very cool. Awesome. Melkinov. I don't know that artist, but I know they've been very picky about what artists they work with. Sweet. This is a G.I. Joe, and it doesn't say on the back, so I really want to know what exactly book this is. See if I can do it without... Oh, this is one of the Snake Eyes. Okay. G.I. Joe Snake Eyes, from Frankie's. The Dead Game. This is the one that had like 5 million covers, but that's a pretty sweet cover, man. That would look really good display on a wall. Good condition. Nice. I'm actually not a huge fan of retailer variants, but when they're done well, they are really cool. So we got Batman The Adventures Continue number 4. This looks to be a Peach Momoko. Harley Quinn playing with her little dolls, or yeah, little voodoo dolls. But Catwoman sitting on her head. Don't quite get that. Nice cover though. Very cool. I like Momoko. Not in love with Momoko. I'm not a hater though. Just got some books that have some really nice value. And don't slide off my desk. Come on. Oh, come on. All right, put you right here. And The Life After. This is an Oni Press, issue number 1. Looks to be a regular cover. Know nothing about it. Absolutely nothing. Looks like an Old West. Take that back. As I said, there's aliens and elephants on the cover and a samurai. So, no idea. All right. Let's do this. Let's move on. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Jack. Thank you, Jack. Scholars and gentlemen. All right. If I can get through a bunch of these videos without slicing myself up, I'm going to call it a win. I do try to save for people out there in the selling world. All of these packing materials. Again, use all the Buffalo, man. Don't just use the books, but use all the parts. It'll save you money, and the more money you can save, the more money you're making. As any business owner will tell you. All right, what do we got here? This was from Mile High. I think I know what this is. Mile High is kind of a forgotten online comic resource because their website, sorry Mile High, no, you're never going to watch this. Their website really sucks. It's really bad. It's like 1992 through up. It's bad. And not easy to navigate. But they did have 2 copies of my new favorite incentive that I'm chasing. Doctor Strange and the Sorcerer's Supreme #1, the 1 in 25 Rodriguez variant. Both in good condition. Clean corners. Check them out closer later, but possible 9.8s. I just threw up another video and opened a bunch of these. This is who we're chasing right here, Demon Rider Kushala. Actually, in the last video, opened up, found a couple 9.8s of that exact same book. There aren't many on the census yet. She is a Apache, Native American, actually from the 1800s. Was possessed by the spirit of vengeance when there was a regiment that was wiping out her village. And then she became the Sorcerer Supreme, and then kind of traveled through time, or was brought through time by Merlin and Doctor Strange. And now she's getting her own book next year. I don't know if it's going to be a period piece set in the 1800s, or if it's going to be transplanted to today. Not really sure, but I have very high hopes for that, and I've been spending money on those books. For now, I am going to get them all graded. If she becomes a next-gen hero, like we've been seeing pop up here and there, which the horror and magic realm, aside from Strange Academy is a long game move, man, because we really have no clue if any of those characters are going to make it. But when I talk next gen heroes, I'm talking America Chavez, Miss Marvel, Amadeus Cho, Miles Morales, Spider-Gwen, all that crew. Even the lesser ones, like the Unstoppable Wasp and Starling, kind of in that crop. But the horror or magic realm doesn't really have one of those characters yet. So, she's got a great look. That's my tip. Alright, we opened up one of these in the last issue too, or the last episode. This is Dragonlance #1. This is the newsstand variant. Came out in 1988. If you can find newsstands of these IPs, this was from DC. But any Marvel or DC, whether it's a popular movie, Dragonlance is kind of on the upswing. Looks like along with getting a lot of homage covers for various comic books, it looks like the next season of Stranger Things is really going to focus on Dungeons and Dragons, or at least the teaser trailer did. Shit. Trying not to cut comics here. So, first appearance of this is more Dungeons and Dragons. First appearance of Dungeons and Dragons in comics, in a comic book. There was a graphic novel that preceded this Dragonlance book. Yeah, that's why I'm picking those up. They're relatively cheap now. I am not going to be listing them now. They're going to be holds. We will wait patiently. Alright, so DC put out 4 series. Dragonlance, Advanced Dungeons & Dragons, Spelljammer, and this is the fourth one, Forgotten Realms. This is actually a set of the first 5 issues. Or no. Do we have 5 copies of number 1? Let's take a look. It might be 5 copies of number 1. Yeah, it is. Including one newsstand. The rest are all direct editions. These were super cheap. Not in the greatest of conditions, but not bad, considering it's a 30-year-old book. Again, now that the industry is really viewing newsstands as being a true rarity, it seems like newsstand editions of even books that aren't keys, some just random G.I. Joe books, or random Transformers books, or random movie adaptations, are starting to get a little bit of heat. So if that trend continues, newsstand editions, as many of you know, newsstand editions are rare based on when it came out. If you're looking at a comic book from 1982, they were probably mostly newsstands. If you're looking at a comic book from 2008, there were very few newsstands. So that chart of more and more direct editions and fewer newsstands. So you have periods of time where the direct edition is the rare one. You have the later periods of time where the newsstand is more rare. These being 1990, there were a lot of comic shops, obviously in the early 90s. So it seems to be that the newsstand variants are the ones to have. Not to mention the fact that obviously newsstand variants, if you can find a high grade of those, just based on how they were sold, at some drugstore, getting stocked by some teenager who knows nothing about comic books, a little bit harder to get in good condition. All right. I hope this is mildly interesting to anybody, because I don't know. Obviously, I can just kind of babble on about comics. What do we got here? I do love opening these when they come in, so it is kind of fun to do it. I don't know, not that this isn't a live audience or anything, but I mean, I'm a comic collector just like everybody else. If I get something cool, I want to show it to people. Like, check out what I got. I can show these to my wife. She's going to be like, great. She probably wouldn't even look. So, super Tony. All right. Oh, sweet. I think we are up to 10 copies of this bad boy. We have another 1 in 25. And we also have, I think this is the 1 in 10 or 1 in 15. The Mike Diodato Spotlight or feature variant. Again, I'm very high on these. I think once her book hits previews for issue number 1 and people start looking at some cover art, Kushala, that demon rider, she does have one of those indigenous, I don't know how to pronounce the artist's name, Veregi, the Native American variants that Marvel's is doing. There's about 7, 8, 9 of them. Most of them are very A-list characters, except for hers. And hers, you have to know about her character to even know that's her on the cover of Indigenous Voices number 1. It's got Kushala Demon Rider on the cover, so that might be under-ordered. But once her series is coming up, I'm going to plan on having a few of these 9.8s ready to go. If I'm the only one on eBay, it's the hardest ratio of her first appearance to get. It also includes her on the cover, even though it doesn't feature her on the cover. It is a cover appearance. I mean, if you look at those other next-gen heroes, the books similar to that would be going for anywhere between $300 and $1,200. So I think an entry-level $300 might be a good price to put on it. as she's getting some heat and see what the market thinks. If there are people who agree that that's how much it should be worth, then there will be a buyer. If there's not, then it sits for a little bit. Change it to a or best offer. I usually like to do that anyways. I used to hate or best offer listings. I'm like, dude, I know what I want to sell it for. If it's not selling for that, I don't even want to bother with it. I don't want offers coming my way that I have to just deny and make people feel mad. Very cool. Awesome. So we just looked at the first appearance of Dungeons and Dragons in comic form in Dragonlance #1. Caveat: there were comic style Dungeons and Dragons advertisements in Marvel Comics and other magazines in the early 80s. I have not found one or seen them, but this is the first actual Dungeons and Dragons comic. So this was 1988. A year before that, obviously that one was licensed by DC, but a year before that, TSR, which was the company that owned the rights at the time, has since changed to Wizards of the Coast and then now Hasbro. But TSR tried publishing their own comic style graphic novel. They do all kinds of modules. Obviously, they're a role-playing game company. So they tried to do a graphic novel, and they just, it looks nice. So this is actually the first appearance of Dungeons and Dragons in graphic novel form. So the cover art looks like a module, or like they use art from the books, but like it's a true comic book. Like it has comic style art. This one's in really good condition. Maybe could use a little bit of a press. It's not in really good condition. It's in decent condition considering how old it is. I do think this property, aside from the Dungeons and Dragons aspect of it, the property has possibility for getting optioned on its own right, the Dragonlance, but that's a story for another day. Although Joe Manganiello agrees with me. He's working on the script. So, what are we doing with that? All of the Dragonlance stuff, all of the Dungeons and Dragons stuff, I am going to hold on to. If I can find a 9.8 candidate in one of those #1s, particularly if it's a newsstand. If it's a newsstand, I might even think about it if it's a 9.6 or 9.4. But if it is a high-grade #1 copy, I will put it in my stack of books to send to CGC. In that stack of books, I don't send everything that's in there. Each time I send a batch, I pick and choose exactly what I want to send at that time. But having a 9.8 of Dragonlance, if I can find a period of time where there aren't any listed, or if Dragonlance, Dungeons and Dragons in general, gets a little heat on it. Right now, one of the factors is how it's listed. Nobody on eBay has this listed as the first appearance of Dungeons and Dragons in comic form. So just educating your buyers in the first place can drive... you have to know how to list your books. If you don't know what you're listing, you either need to do a little bit of homework or just hold on to it until other people can figure it out. Because that's important, you know. That's an important factor. So, anyways, Dragonlance books, that's what we're planning to do there. I'm going to talk to you about what I'm going to do with the Doctor Strange, Kushala, Demon Rider books. Seriously, I'm very high on that Demon Rider character. I think that's going to be fire. I think that she might even have a better chance of hitting the screen before Ghost Rider does. I think they should do Spirits of Vengeance as a Disney Plus or Hulu series as like an anthology, following different spirits of vengeance in different eras. You know, you can follow 3 issues with this, or 3 episodes with this, with Danny Ketch, 3 episodes with God, I can't talk. Robbie Reyes, thank you. Some episodes with Kushala, some episodes with the original Ghost Rider, the guy, the white guy on the horse. Oh, I didn't really show what this is. Hey, this last box, we're going to try to wrap this up. This is my Scout Comics subscription box. This is my 3rd or 4th month with them. They just send you random Scout Comics. I think it runs like $35, I want to say. But dude, they send like some serious books. Like some of their variants, they do special web exclusives that you can't get elsewhere. They do Ashcan editions. I got an Ashcan edition of that Phantom Star Killer. So what? They got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 books for $35 or $40 or whatever. We've got number 3 of It Eats What Feeds It. This looks like a Trees homage cover. That's pretty cool. I actually did not read Trees. But that series does have some heat on it, and I have not seen that cover before. Atlantis Wasn't Built for Tourists, number 3. Usually with Scout, if it's a special cover, that will be, it will have that displayed somewhere on the cover, but maybe not. We've got Eli Powell for Infernoct, number 1. Know nothing about it. There's so many Scout titles that go completely unnoticed. There's a few bigger ones that get some press. There's a lot that just don't do anything. Here's Infernoct number 2. Some interesting art. And Infernoct number 3. I like that one the best, I think. Kind of preacher-esque with that church in the background. And Infernoct number 4. One thing too, they've been really good about not doubling up on issues, which is impressive if you're giving 12 for each one. I do believe this is a Phantom Star Killer cover. I want to see what issue, because it's a Virgin cover. Does it say on the back? Phantom Star Killer. Here, I'll take it out of the plastic. This is really cool. Check that out. Check that out. That is awesome, dude. It's even got like a little Illuminati. Okay, so Phantom Star Killer, a Scout imprint. It doesn't even say on the back what issue it is. Oh, this is issue 1. This is a variant for issue 1. I have not seen this one. Obviously, it's the VHS variant that's getting the most press, followed by the regular cover. They did give, like I said, I got the Ashcan of not issue 1, but like the in a previous book or box. This is really cool. I really like that. I'm gonna have to look this up. And we've got the Electric Black Presents number 1, a Scout Comics imprint, Black Caravan. Black Caravan, I think, is their kind of horror imprint within Scout. And you know, I spoke too soon, because right after I said they haven't doubled up, I want to say that I got this exact one last month. Yasmin number 4. Yasmin, I got number 1, 2, and 3 out of this already. I'm actually, I think this could go somewhere. If you see Yasmin number 1, pick it up if it's for cover. Concrete Jungle number 2 for mature readers. Oh my God, what are we? Some kind of But I don't know what that is. Anyways, we've got an ash can for Rabid World. Very thin one. Must be like 3 pages. Don't know anything about it. And the last one, number 6 of Midnight Sky. I remember when Midnight Sky first came out. Issue 1. So, what is my strategy for these scouts? A lot of them I'm just kind of putting in a long box. But if there is a variant, it's probably a web exclusive, which means there might not be any on eBay. Like this, it eats what feeds it. So when I find one of those, especially if it's a title that people have actually been buying periodically, I'll probably list it for like 30 or 35 bucks. I'm not getting these graded. So that one, the Phantom Star Killer, maybe that ash can. I've done pretty well doing that. Each box I've had 2 or 3 that have sold that way. Vlad Dracul is another one. So I mean, if one of those sells for 35, that pays for the whole box. Then the rest of it is just gravy. Yeah, it's kind of an interesting box. So that's all she wrote, folks. Have a wonderful night or day or afternoon or weekend, whatever it is for you. Catch you in the next video. Maybe we'll have something different to open up next time. Peace out.